here he is. Gabriel. Yay. So he should be on it. Yay, we did
Hey, it
it.
worked.
That was the most amazing process. Okay. So I was just sort of introducing the topic, and I'll do so again. Welcome, Gabriel. Of course, you know you're inside of the Healing Heart Reiki Success Circle, Thriving. We're planning on thriving in 2021, and we're just finishing out this year. And I thought it would be really amazing to have you on, just in light of some of the conversations that we've had casually about energy work and how that connects to anatomy and, you know, like your world and the things that you do kind of regularly. So welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something that I've been weirdly passionate. I don't know, probably not that weird, but it seems weird sometimes. Weirdly passionate about for the last year or two. Like my brain is starting to make like strange connections between the physical world and the energetic world, and that does some weird things to my teaching of massage therapy and my practicing of massage therapy. But it's really cool. So
What kind of
yeah,
connections? Like,
like between different practices, between different cultures, between uh, like how do I say this? Just similarities between the energy structures and the physical structures.
yeah,
Like how the heart chakra does similar things for our energetic body that the actual heart does, and like how those kinds of metaphors and stuff line up.
yeah. I mean, I think that that's something that I've also noticed as an energy healer over the past 10 years. Like, the more that I've gone into it, sometimes I have these like really psychedelic moments, and I'm like, oh, yeah, veins are like tree branches. And, you know, it's so easy to go off. But I think you said something else there just about like different cultures, like in Chinese, you know, medicine and that kind of thing. And that's something that I'm really interested in as an energy healer. Like, we're living in this new age. We're living in this time where everything is kind of all like, as Americans, we kind of pick up from many different cultures. And do you have any feelings about like that? Like, is there a way that you feel that it's very grounded looking at the work from an anatomical or energetic perspective?
Yeah, I really think like if you're a massage therapist who doesn't practice doesn't practice energy work.
Yeah.
I've gotten in fights with massage therapists online about that before, who thought they weren't doing energy work. Or if you're an energy worker who doesn't have experience or doesn't have certification for physical massage, I really think they each can bring another level of intent, of depth to whatever work it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? If I mean, like as a massage therapist, like we get lots of training in soft tissue, um, like how it functions, what we can do for it, um, and like there can be, because it's school and
Hmm.
school is accredited, there needs to be like measurable results for us to be able to be accredited and
Right.
offer financial aid. Uh, like there tends to be a focus on the mechanical process
Hmm. Hmm.
of massage, even though we do touch on just the importance of therapeutic touch.
Right. Well,
Having the knowledge of the energy, of the more subtle things going
mhm.
on in and around the body. Um, like just having an awareness of them, and understanding that as a massage therapist, I do and can intentionally affect them,
Mhm.
allows me to offer more options to my clients, and it gives me more tools as a massage therapist to be able to help my client with whatever they have going on. And energy work is really good for that because
Yeah.
there are a lot of conditions that happen with the body where I can't
Mm.
directly interact with it, but energy work allows me to
Mm.
directly interact with that part of the body without physically contacting it. So,
Hmm. Well, and I think that's like on my end, I have laying hands on, and I'm not so much allowed to like massage or press, like you mentioned, soft tissue, right? So legally, I can't really like get in there at all. I mean, I might with family members at home or like the occasional client that I know well, and I'm like, she just needs this, and this, you know. But I'm
mm,
really curious from the massage end because I know that you've studied both energy work, like massage is energy work, we'll just say that. But, you know, I know you've studied kind of like Reiki and the hands-on and very no tissue manipulation as well as massage. And
mm.
with regards to that soft tissue work, is there anything that you feel like, um, in your experience with people, are there ways that sometimes the soft tissue work is actually more important than the quiet hands on? Or are there moments where you've really noticed that being able to get into the tissue has made like a bigger difference or a different kind of difference?
That's a really good question. I like I'm I'm biased because my body has its own preferences.
Uh-huh.
Um, but sorry, the chat's distracting me. My body has its own preferences, and those are for the more sub burger, um, not as deep and not as direct.
Mm.
But yeah, I think it depends on the client,
Mm-hmm.
right? Different people respond to different types of work in different ways. Um, so so yeah, there are people where a more physical approach is probably going to be more effective for them,
Right.
and uh, energy massage, like we can go all kinds of places with this, but it's one healing modality that just it doesn't work very well if your client doesn't believe in it,
Uh-huh.
right? And like we can talk about why that is. I choose to believe that it's because there needs to be some kind of receptiveness in the energy
Mhm.
field, and just like the attitude of no, like puts up a shield that
Yeah.
blocks their ability to receive that.
Yeah, it can be like a boundary. Like even if the energy works, it's going through thick layers of total
Yeah.
resistance. Yeah. Yeah, well, and I think that that's the whole thing. Like, I think when I think about anatomy, because, you know, today we decided to call this the energy of anatomy. Um, I think a lot about how when I was first learning Reiki a while back, um, I stumbled upon Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. And in that book, towards the very back of the book, she has that really long glossary that has all of these body parts and like affirmations that you could use to be in better harmony with these anatomical and these like parts of your body or even based on illness. And that book made her really famous. She worked with so many people inside of the AIDS epidemic, right? And was so helpful for gay and lesbian families and people who were really struggling with HIV at that time. And there was so much judgment. And people literally just had, like, I watched a documentary about it, and there were so many people that went to her workshops where finally they were able to make that connection between mind and, you know, spirit and body, and they had total turnarounds in all sorts of health issues that would be like medically impossible, considered medically impossible. And so her book, like that book made such a huge splash. And I know that there are a lot of Reiki practitioners that get little bits of that in their classes. Um, and Louise herself, in an interview, talked about how she originally got that information from an African woman when she was living in New York. And that woman was her coach and was teaching her pieces, right? So I feel like there's this like stream of lineage of people throughout the ages, or like going back, like Louise is a modern version of that, where we do understand that our body can hold certain stories, right? And certain things inside of the anatomy. I know like Chinese medicine also, has understandings about things being held in the body. When you're working with people's bodies, like with the anatomy, like have you ever noticed any patterns or things that kind of tend to come up?
Well, um, the how do I
I know.
Uh, I, so I want to talk. What comes up for me are emotional holding patterns, right?
Ooh.
So there are certain postures that go along with various emotions and attitudes,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if well, a common response to stress is like the raising and like moving forward of the shoulders, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this comes from an instinctual response to want to protect vulnerable areas of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And our nervous system doesn't differentiate between being chased by a saber-toothed tiger or getting yelled at by your boss. They're
Yeah.
both life and death situations, and so our body subconsciously responds in the same way, trying to protect this vulnerable area on the front of the throat.
Mm-hmm.
And so, uh, if we're under these kinds of stressful situations a lot, then these muscles are being tensed a lot, and so our nervous system sets this as, I'm taking a long way there,
I like it.
sets this as our new muscle length for these muscles
Oh,
that raise our scapula, right?
yeah.
And so now we're holding this almost constantly. But what can happen when you get into those muscles that are associated with the postures that are associated with the emotions, it can bring the
Right.
emotions back up, right? So
Ah,
working on that part of the
yeah.
body will remind me of the stressful situation that that's that's one way. Another is just being open. I know we've talked before about eliminating the concept of modalities from practice, right?
Yeah.
They're all
Mm-hmm.
whatever is in my tool belt is just Gabriel style massage. Um,
Right. Instead of it being like Gabriel the masseuse and Gabriel the Reiki person and
yeah, and it's not just deep tissue and myofascial therapy and shiatsu and Reiki and polarity massage. It's whatever my client needs. And uh, I remember a demo with one of the teachers at NHI's Advanced Neuromuscular Therapy program. She was doing an assessment on one of our students, and the student complained about pain on the right side of her neck.
mm,
And through the assessment process, uh, the teacher found no physical evidence that she had anything going on with the soft tissue in her neck. Like she had no range of motion issues, she had no postural issues. But during the assessment,
right.
she noticed the student like rolling her big toe on the floor on the right
Oh,
side every now and then made the connection between reflexology and that like joint of the big toe being associated with the neck, and she was doing
yeah.
it on the right side, and
That's
so making that connection.
yeah. Ooh, I like that. And I think that is the thing, right? Like, so you've said some really cool things there that I just resonate with, like, again, that reminder that as practitioners, and especially inside of this group, energy practitioners, we can see ourselves as more, like as more than just, oh, I took the Reiki class, or, oh, I have this massage certification, and we can bring the full elements of who we are and all of the information we've picked up or read in books, or everything, in order to like really be detectives with people's bodies, and like give them the best possible service and love and care. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've I've been through a really interesting journey in the last year, in a lot of things that I practice, because um, I enjoy structure, and I enjoy compartmentalized things.
Me too.
I like keeping them separate. Um, and like realizing that that's not really serving me very well, in both my practice and my teaching.
Yeah.
And so being able to take a step back and using my intuition to view a larger picture.
Right.
But I'm working on it. Uh, but yeah, I think I think that's at least the key for me to being able to pick up on these subtler cues, and letting my subconscious brain make those connections, rather than um, being like really like in it, like, okay, so you've got this going on and
Yeah.
this going on and that going on and this going on, and how are they connected, and trying to put that puzzle together. Just like
Yeah.
look at the whole, all of the puzzle pieces laid out on the table, and being like, huh, like I don't
Mm.
know why, but it looks like these two pieces fit together.
Yeah. Like, what I hear in that is, instead of letting it be this ego driven, now I'm gonna answer the questions of the universe in this person's body, like truly just letting like the full picture wash through. Like, that's like an energy tactic, right? Like, just the surrender into feeling what the answers may be, and then letting that deeper heart intelligence and mind intelligence put it together for you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I had another metaphor, because in Reiki, like we channel the energy. Um, like why not just I had this image of like channeling the knowledge, right?
Ooh,
Like
yeah. Absolutely.
letting the information from my client to this like bigger consciousness that knows more than my little brain does, and then letting the answers come back through. Oh wow, is it that easy? Let's find out.
I like that. It's real, and I think, like, for me as an Egyptian practitioner, like the ancient Egyptian work that I do, um, I think this is where, again, like, I'm going back to the thing that you said about the holistic approach, and really letting it be integrated, right? Integrated holistic approach. That in the Egyptian work, I've worked with deities, goddesses, worked with things like the halls of information, right? Like the hall of records and that kind of thing. And I think that's where, when I get into a room with somebody, a client in session, um, it's not like I turn all of that off and just do Reiki. Sometimes I do, but I feel that the time, like, I've had profound experiences when I've been able to kind of do what you said, like open up and say, okay, I need access to that hall of records now. Like, let me have all of the knowledge. Like, let's not just do it the Dailey way, because Dailey is like this big in physical form and in ego form, versus like the greater, you know, all of our soul energy, and how that weaves together with the entire universe. So, yeah. Now, as practitioners, like for anybody who's watching who's a practitioner of energy work, is there are there any types of things that you feel that we could be thinking about, learning about, or knowing with regards to the physical body and our approach and the work?
Yeah, I think what excites me right now is like recognizing in recognizing the similarities between the different structures that we're aware of in the energetic body and
Mm-hmm.
how they're similar to the physical structures in the body, um, being able to make that link. We're able
Yeah.
to affect the physical intentionally through working on the similar energetic structure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And so as an energy worker, being familiar with the physiology, how the different systems of the body function, and
Right.
also the pathology, what happens when something goes wrong in one of those systems, or what kinds of things can go wrong in one of those systems, and then understanding how I, as a practitioner, within my scope of practice, can affect that uh, that specific system in the
Right.
body. And so, being able to apply that to your practice and bring again this deeper level of intent, more options for how I can help my client. The better
Yeah.
I understand uh, the better I understand the physical body, the more I can do for the physical body.
Yeah.
Or the more
Yeah.
I understand what I can't do for the physical body and should refer them to somebody who can.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I mean, it is like developing that. What I hear is that developing that intelligence just allows us to work in a much deeper way, a richer way, and to know where our current limits may be, which I think is sometimes a challenge for practitioners. Like, you want to help someone, and so you want to give your all, but you may actually not have the knowledge or the information to truly be of service to them in that way. And
Mhm.
referring out because you realize that something is very physical is just going to help them and allow you to really drop into your center, like your sweet center where the work is. Yeah, I think of
Especially
yoga too.
energy work.
Uh-oh, I think it froze.
Uh-oh. Oh yeah, it
There it
hiccuped
goes.
on
Okay,
my
say it again.
what was I saying? Oh, yeah, I think especially like being able to know when to refer out uh, when you're working with something as big and powerful as energy work and Reiki. It's um, like it's amazing the things that I can accomplish with it, and it's okay to get some help with those things too.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Asking for help, one of those things. It's so good, and sometimes we resist. um, I feel like there was one last question that I wanted to ask. Let's see where we're at with time. Time is it? I have no idea. um, yeah, I mean, I feel like there's just so much here that is important, good to think about. You know, I know that you've toyed with the idea of doing a longer course for energy workers. So if anybody's listening and they think that that would be really interesting, a course that is about the body, just post some hearts below, or you can private message me or Gabriel. Definitely.
Yeah,
And
I definitely have some ideas for like, shorter courses and like definitely more in detail courses probably farther down the line. So,
mhm. Yeah. Okay, let's take a quick look at comments and see if there's if anybody has questions. This is a good time. We're about at that time. So let's see. I'm interested in hearing the differences between the right and left side of the body. That's one. And I'm also curious if either of you have experiences with past lives being held in the physical or energetic body, since you talked about past stresses in current life being held in the body. Those are both really juicy. Do you want to take
yes,
either of
yeah,
those or both?
Absolutely. I've so I guess I should preface this with an it depends. um, uh, because again, like different cultures have different ideas, and like I'm not as interested in like which one is right or wrong, but like which ones resonate with me. And like sometimes the interesting thing is how can they both be true?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I love that
in
paradox.
uh, one of my teachers who also practices Egyptian mysticism, she talked about the body in terms of right and left, right being physical, masculine, ego, and left being feminine and energy, spirituality. So there's that,
Mhm.
and like that definitely resonates with me. I guess we
Yeah,
can
me
tie
too.
that into yin and yang as well, right? Well, yin and yang, yin being the left and yang being the right, because that goes along with the masculine and the feminine and the physical and the energy. Um, but in traditional Chinese medicine, they talk about the body in terms of front and back, anterior and
Mm.
posterior, right? So the front is yin and the back is yang, right? The front is it's soft,
Mm.
right? The front is soft and the back is
Yeah,
hard and protected. And when you get to the legs, it's the outside and the inside, the lateral and the medial.
which makes
Um,
total sense.
mhm. But I got it. I made the connection. Polarity massage talks about poles in the body, positive and negative energies, which
Mhm.
again, yin and yang,
Yeah.
um, as being both top and bottom, right and
Mm.
left, front
Mhm.
and back. So
Mhm.
front, top, and right are positive,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
back,
Mhm.
bottom, and left are negative, and then you have the neutral space in the center. So
That really resonates. Yeah. And I think it reminds me too that to me, it's very much like the physical world. Like when we're here on the earth plane, there are sort of physical laws that we've opted into, right? Like gravity, what goes up must come down. Really hard to change those laws. It might be changeable. Time, the time continuum, right? They're pretty solid. And there is metaphysical work around how to manipulate or move through that and around that, but these laws are fairly solid. And yet, in the world of energy work really is astral plane work. And so we don't have those laws there.
hmm,
And I feel like this conversation highlights, like this part of the conversation highlights the fact that as humans with our brains, we're always trying to understand the spiritual world and abstract metaphysical concepts in terms of the laws that we have to abide by on the earth plane, because of that's how it becomes manifest. And yet it's not so cut and dried like that, right? Like in the astral realm, maybe there are polarities, but they don't have to look this way and that way. Like in
yeah,
this
what
physical
is what
world.
is left and right when you don't have a body?
Exactly. And so I feel like it's this reminder that there's so many teachings around the polarities or around like yin yang, light dark, like this idea. And it's just a way for us as humans to begin to grasp the idea of the fuller spectrum of energy, right? Because ultimately, maybe it doesn't even matter like which system you use. Like you could use the Chinese system or the body massage polarity system, but what matters is how the energy is in reaction to that, right? And like within the system, um, yeah, like how you're able to read it vibrationally. I think that's
Yeah.
really, yeah.
What do I have? What does my client need? What can I provide them right now?
Right. And it's like if you just throw that system in there, then you can kind of see what you're dealing with in a more practical way. Yeah, I mean, I think the question too that Sequoia asked about past lives, I really liked that. And I know for myself, what I found is that um, like the belief that I like to abide by, it's just a personal one, is like our body does hold stuff. Our body holds energy, emotions, but um, it can hold past life stuff because we are more than this life for sure. And even our DNA holds stories that are more than our lives, right? Like I think now epigenetics has shown that we can absolutely hold in our body the stress of our birth mother or even our parents or family members from the generation before. So that's
Right.
kind of crazy. But it highlights for when I found that people have past life things happening in the body that are coming up, I've noticed that even if it is a past life thing, there's often something in the present life that's triggering that recurrence. Like there's often some kind of emotional dynamic at play or a situation that's
That remind
causing.
your body or your energy of this past situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if in a past life you were stabbed in the back and burned on the stake, and then in this life it's like, oh yes, the
I have,
fibromyalgia is being caused by a burning from a past life of being burning. I feel like there's still something in this life that
sure.
needs to be
Well,
addressed.
well, yeah. Like this, like speaks a lot to my fairly limited understanding of karma, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, like the reason I'm in this life right now is to heal what happened in a
Mhm.
previous life, because time, what is it? um but like, yeah, I was burned at the stake in this previous life, and now I'm having fibromyalgia to remind me of whatever trauma it was that I needed to heal.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's really interesting that Sequoia asked that question, because like the thought popped into my brain for a second when I was talking about channeling knowledge, the idea of genetic ancestral knowledge.
Right.
Um, like there is evidence that it exists. It's how infants know how to operate your cell phone better than you do, right?
Right.
They, they practically came out of the womb knowing how to operate technology,
Yeah.
because their parents and grandparents learned it for them.
Yeah. It becomes more intuitive for them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. This is such juicy stuff. Yeah. Is there anything that you want to add before we close out? I think, we've talked about some really awesome things today. Like, gosh, everything from like past life, epigenetic, multiple systems of energy, anatomy, soft tissue. There's a lot of good in there. Is there
Mhm.
anything that you feel we should know as we look
Like
forward?
I I don't know. I'm really passionate about a lot of things, and one of those things right now is the physical body.
Yeah.
It's incredible how complex our bodies are, and like I just want to impart like some small part of my enthusiasm for how weird we all are, um, into like whoever wants to hear me rant about strange things about the body.
I
So,
love it. Yeah, I love it. I think you're in good company here. Like we could definitely just go for another few hours and I'd be like, oh, look at this. Okay, now let's get
mhm.
real deep. But I feel like this has been just a really fun, great discussion to kind of open up this group, to these ideas. And I definitely look forward to seeing some of these course ideas that you have and being present for that. And I would love if we can do this again in the future
Me too.
because I think there's so much there. Yeah, for sure. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and log us out. And um, I guess both of us will probably be around through the day. So if there are questions to this thread, I don't know how much we can answer, but it would be
Yeah,
lovely to see where the conversation takes people. And thank you
definitely.
everybody for watching with us. And I will make this video available in the units tab of the group, and Gabriel also will have a copy. So thank you guys. Have a beautiful Thursday. Thank you so much, Gabriel.
Yeah, thank you, Dailey. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody, for watching and asking questions, because that's what interaction is really what makes teaching fun.
Yeah, totally.
Ha Having somebody to bounce an idea off of my head, like, sends things in a new direction, and that's what's fun about it for me. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Bye.